Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to English Upgrade. Today, I'm going to share with you a beautiful story about a young girl's big adventure in the city. A story filled with fun, fear, friendship, and bravery. But before we begin, let's quickly review the shadowing technique. It's simple yet powerful for improving your English. First, listen carefully to each sentence. Then repeat after me, matching my speed, tone, and pronunciation. You can pause, rewind, and practice again as much as you need. Shadowing will help you sound more natural, improve your listening, speaking, and confidence. Alright, let's begin. My name is Lisa, and I am 16 years old. I live in a small, quiet town. Sometimes it's too quiet. One summer morning, my best friend Sarah called me. She sounded so excited. "Lisa, let's go to the city today," she said. "The city? But it's so far," I replied. "Come on, we need some fun." "We never do anything exciting here," Sarah insisted. I thought about it. My parents were at work. Summer was almost over, and honestly, I wanted a little adventure too. "Okay, let's do it," I finally said. We took the morning bus, and soon we were in the heart of the city. It was huge, so many people, so many cars, everything moving so fast. Sarah already had a plan. First, let's go shopping, then we can watch a movie. We walked to the big mall. It was amazing, bright lights everywhere, music playing, and stores full of beautiful things. We entered a clothing store. The clothes were gorgeous, but very expensive. A friendly lady who worked there noticed us looking around. She smiled warmly and said, "You girls seem a bit lost." Sarah laughed. "We're from a small town. Everything here feels so fancy." The lady laughed warmly. "I grew up in a small town too. Wait here," she said. She disappeared into the back room and returned holding two beautiful dresses. "These are from last season. The store can't sell them anymore. Would you like them?" Sarah and I stared at her in disbelief. "Free dresses?" They were perfect, and somehow they fit us as if they had been made just for us. "Thank you so much," we said together. She smiled. "Enjoy being young. Have fun in the city." After shopping, we started to feel hungry. We wandered through the busy streets until we spotted a small, bright blue food truck with a long line of people. "Must be good food," Sarah said. We joined the line. The air was filled with an amazing aroma, sweet and spicy at the same time. When we reached the front, we couldn't believe our eyes. The man cooking was juggling. He flipped burger patties high into the air, caught them perfectly on the grill, and never dropped a single one. "What can I make for you ladies?" he asked, juggling 3 onions without missing a beat. "What do you recommend?" I asked. "The flying burger special," he grinned. He tossed a patty high into the sky. It flipped 3 times before landing perfectly back on the grill. Everyone around clapped and cheered. We ordered 2 flying burger specials. While cooking, he told jokes, made animal sounds, and even performed magic tricks using vegetables. The food was the best we had ever tasted, but the show was even better. We laughed until our stomachs hurt. "This guy should be on TV," Sarah whispered. After lunch, we wandered the city streets, taking in the sights and sounds. We passed street performers, musicians, dancers, and artists. One artist was painting portraits. His work was stunning, every brushstroke full of life, but most people simply walked past without stopping. I noticed his smile fade slightly, and for a moment he looked sad. Sarah and I felt a pang of sympathy for the artist. "Excuse me," Sarah asked gently. "How much for a portrait?" $20. He replied softly. We glanced at each other. We only had $15 left. Our faces fell. The artist noticed. "You know what? Let me paint you both." No money needed. "But why?" I asked in surprise. "You two are the first people to stop and talk to me today," he said with a gentle smile. "That's worth more than money." He began painting us together. We sat side by side, smiling and laughing as he worked. When he was finished, the portrait captured our joy perfectly. "This will remind you of your friendship," he said. We hugged him, touched by his kindness. It was getting late, so we decided to find the bus station. But somehow, we got lost and ended up in a quiet street. Suddenly, music filled the air. Loud, joyful music. Curious, we followed the sound. It led us to a small park, but what we saw there was far from ordinary. About 50 people were dancing in perfect sync. Even stranger, every single one of them was wearing the same bright yellow shirt. We stopped to watch, fascinated. The dance was simple but full of energy. An elderly woman noticed us and came running over. "Come dance. Everyone can join," she said. "But we don't know the dance," I protested. "It's easy. Just follow along," she laughed. Before we knew it, we were in the middle of the crowd, moving to the beat. Someone handed us each a yellow shirt, and we joined in fully. The dance was all about happiness and friendship. Everyone was smiling, strangers moving together like old friends. We danced for nearly 30 minutes, laughing the whole time. Later, we learned it was a flash mob organized on social media and held every month in a different location. It was the most random thing ever, and it was amazing. When the music faded and the crowd began to leave, we realized it was almost dark. This time, we really needed to find the bus station. We asked for directions and hurried off, our hearts still light from the dance. A man pointed down a dimly lit street. "Go straight, then turn right. You'll see it," he said. We thanked him and started walking, but with every step, the street grew darker and quieter. Shadows stretched across the walls, and there were hardly any people around. Then, footsteps. Heavy, slow footsteps. Getting closer, I turned my head slightly. A large man in a dark coat was following us. When we stopped, he stopped. When we walked, he walked. Fear tightened in my chest. "Sarah, I think he's following us," I whispered. "Let's walk faster," she whispered back. We quickened our pace. So did he. Our hearts pounded like drums. Then Sarah spotted a small grocery store up ahead. "See that store? Let's go inside," she said quickly. We hurried in, the bell above the door jingling loudly. Through the glass, we saw the man stop and stare at us. The store owner noticed our pale faces. "Is everything okay, girls?" he asked. "A man is following us. We're just trying to get to the bus station," Sarah explained. The store owner stepped to the window, took one look, and said, "That's Mr. Johnson. He's not dangerous. He has a mental illness. Sometimes he follows people, but he's harmless." Relief washed over us, though our hands were still trembling. The store owner went outside, spoke to Mr. Johnson, and after a moment, the man smiled and walked away. "He was just confused," the owner said. "But I understand why you were scared." Then, with a kind smile, he offered to walk us to the bus station himself. With him by our side, we finally reached the station safely, just in time for the last bus home. On the ride back, we stared out the window at the glowing city lights. So many things had happened in one day. Moments of joy, unexpected kindness, strange surprises, and one truly scary moment. But through it all, Sarah and I had been together. And that, more than anything, made every twist and turn of the day worth it. As the bus rumbled through the night, Sarah leaned her head against the seat and smiled. "This was the best day ever," she said. "Even the scary part?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "Even that," she nodded. "It made us stronger, and look what we got." She held up the painting, our faces frozen in wide, happy smiles. I smiled back. We'll remember this day forever. Outside the window, the bright city lights slowly faded into the distance. Our small town didn't seem boring anymore. It seemed peaceful, safe. But now we knew something important. We could handle adventures too. When we arrived home, our parents were waiting. They weren't angry. In fact, they looked proud. "You girls are growing up," my mom said softly. "But promise to be more careful next time." "We promise," we said together. That night, I hung the painting on my wall. Every time I look at it, I'm taken back to that summer day. The laughter, the kindness of strangers, the unexpected surprises. Sarah and I are still best friends. We still live in our small town, but we now understand that adventures can happen anywhere. Good friends make every moment better. And sometimes the best stories come from the most unexpected days. The free dresses still hang in our closets, but the memories, they hang in our hearts forever. And that is the day everything changed. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Remember, adventures can happen anywhere, even in a small town. And good friends make everything better. If you like this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. See you in the next video. Bye.